It's movie time, and we're back again with Movie Time. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Happy Wednesday, and I'm your host, Grayson, and with me is, of course, my host, Arpo. Hey, Arpo, how you doing?
I am doing very, very well. I have survived Hurricane Irma.
Yes. So you're going to hear the amazing echo because, unfortunately, he's from an undisclosed location. Secret locations.
Yes, very secret. Nobody knows I'm here. Absolutely nobody knows I'm. WC, how did you get here?
Yeah. And also, my co-host Olaf will be with us shortly. He's just on his way back over. And with me, of course, tonight is our amazing guest, Ben Yennie. Hey, Ben, how you doing?
Hello. I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
No, thank you for being back again. We missed you from our last time. So catch us up to you. What's going on in producer rep world?
Producers rep world, things are always busy. A lot of those things I can't quite talk about yet, but hopefully soon. But most of my time hasn't been in producers rep world. It's been software executive world, which is...
Yes. Tonight we get to reveal finally the thing that we could not speak of. The thing that could not be named. We can now name it. Ben, would you love to make the announcement?
It is. Yeah, so my software startup, Production Next, is now open to the public.
Woo!
And yeah, you can actually see, and I think there's a lot of stuff about it that we can see, and we'll even show you tonight.
Yes.
So yeah.
It's exciting because it's like this is totally revolutionized and changed the world as we know it for the industry.
Oh, now I'm blushing.
Yep. Well, it has, because it's like it's going to be a time saver. It's going to be a money saver as well, because it's like then first of all it's like in brief. I'm not going to pop the cork too high because I'm going to let you do that. But it's the time saver that will allow you not to have to travel people quite so often over the period of a day.
That it be a more efficient filmmaker by harnessing the power of the internet to actually your software just kind of work instead of having to manually duplicate changes, manually calculate very tedious things, as well as input data to a call sheet. But we'll get into more of that later.
Absolutely. So let's have a little bit of a taste of what Production Next looks like.
Okay. I'm going to just share my screen then.
So that people can actually see this incredible software.
So yeah, this is Production Next. This is what you'll see right when you log in. Except you won't have that. You will have that. And it's not quite what you'll see, but that's more what you'll see.
Yes.
So this is your homepage. This is where you'll be when you log into Production Next. You'll see your current projects up here.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see your project memberships here, and there's a pretty big difference between those. You'll see some base insights into your production company right here. These can be an easy way to think of Production Next is it doesn't just help you manage your projects. It also helps you manage your production company. And a lot of the power of Production Next is harnessing those real-world things that you have access to and putting them into the fictional world of your project.
Mm-hmm.
So the production company is where you store all those real-world assets. The projects are where you plug them into.
Well, definitely, and setting up the projects is really super easy as well as registering on there. It's super easy. It's just a matter of plug, and please tell us what the name of the project is.
Yeah, we've made getting started as easy as we can, and we've also tried to make easy as we can, as you can. Now, this works differently than a lot of the software you were trained on in film school, or you worked on, or somehow you trained yourself. Which, if you did, I'm impressed. So there's a little bit of a different learning curve. So even if you're already great at brand names that I don't want to say for legal reasons, this might be a little bit different than what you were expecting. But if you actually take the time, and we've a lot of data from our users, people who take the time and spend an hour or more, not even
Yep.
consecutively, banging against it, they really start to understand it. And on average, they come back every week, at least while they're making the projects. So that is so it's worth our goal with this,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we're already there, is to have you, after that 1 hour of banging your head against it, have it save you 1 hour a week in terms of your
Yes.
workflow and everything else you're doing. And I think we're already doing that.
Oh, definitely. You also get a workflow chart as well. Is also, it's like one of the things that it's like I found is right away. One of the most easiest things, you can enter a script into there.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, you can enter the project right into there so that you have it sitting right there. Anything that you can import, you can just import it in, everything from storyboard to script to anything that you've already got over on external, you can put it in there so you have it in one space.
Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of work for you. This is Swans. It's a script that's given out by Final Draft.
Yep.
And all we've done is upload it.
Mm-hmm.
We do this demo from a lot of different places, so we don't always have the script on there to upload. So the way we do it is just keep this project around where we haven't modified it all other than to upload the script. So as soon as you get started, you will automatically have all your scenes broken out by character, by speaking rules, as well as page aids, and interior, exterior, and day or night. So you have a good place to start from when you're breaking down your project. So that is, and again, it looks, if you were to upload Swans, this is exactly what it would look like. And this strip board works largely like any other strip board you'd want to use. Just press reorder scenes, and you can drag stuff around and make everything work. I'm actually going to come back to that in just a second.
Yes, please.
But
does it have also the characters broken down in there as well?
Yes, it does. So if you go into the first scene, there's Kara, Allie, and Mommy.
Okay, it's like, do you get to scene number them, or like scene of importance, like so that you can say, okay, character 1, character 5 is going to be in this scene?
Yes, that's done in cast and crew. Before we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's come back to that in just a moment.
Yeah, sorry, it's okay. I'm just so excited all about the software.
No worries.
I'm like a little kid in a candy store going, oh my god.
It's really
so another.
Yeah.
That.
I said she gets excited so easily. It's really a shameful display.
Oh, I don't think so. It makes me excited that people are excited. But so another thing to think. So Production Next also has a very strong community element, in addition to the actual project management. When you are working on projects with people, you'll periodically get these project updates. Mm-hmm. You'll also have a place to track your tasks. There are sometimes the DB has to do this thing, sometimes the AD has to do this, and having one centralized bank to keep track of all the tasks is exactly what that is. On the community level, we also have personal updates. where you, other people you're connected to, other people you've worked with in the past, and other members of your filmmaking community can gather online to talk about what they're doing, what they're up to, as well as even get some of their questions answered by the people who would know the answers. So
Yes.
so if you want to ask a question, you could ask it of whoever you want. Like if you have a financing question, you probably only want to ask it of executive producers. The question, you only want to ask it of directors of photography.
Yes.
So that's all of that. I'm not actually going to ask this question, but the only people who will be notified of this question, who will see any Q&As of this, are people who identify as the job types that you want to answer the question.
Can you have more than one?
That is, I don't know if there is a limit, but let's say, but you probably don't want to tag anybody.
Yeah.
I know you can at least do 6. So,
okay.
But this is still beta stage software, so there will be things that will change, but most of the things will be getting better. Some really cool new features that I know about that I'm not allowed to talk about. Jim had to talk with me.
Yeah. He's already wagged the finger and said, "Do not do that."
Yes, but the no. But see, and then you can see all of the projects on that, all of the questions on just the general Q&A screen. You can also add classifieds, like if you want to get rid of a camera, go to a good home with another filmmaker, you can sell your Red, your Canon, whatever you want to sell, you can do it through our classified system. And we are actually working on some even cooler ways to do that again, I can't talk about because still beta. But now, and if you want, even if you need an extra or a cameraman or a gaffer in a city you're not from, you can post a classified to that zip code and find people local.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so. Those are some of the stuff we're working on the community tab. Before we go into the projects, which I know is where everybody really wants to be, we're going to say a bit about the company.
Yes.
Again, the company is the real world place where you keep all of your stuff, all the real tangible things you have access to. Sure, it's got all those projects there too, but that's not the only place. You can also list all the videos as a promotional hub for your company because we all need to promote ourselves. I would know on Facebook too much, but that might be how you're watching this video. But you can also keep real world assets like locations you have access to. And there's the Glendale house, a location in Joshua Tree or UCLA. Now, these are real places that you at least know somebody who can get you in to shoot at them. And when you need to find a location for your script, when you're breaking it down, when you're looking to match locations and all of that, it will first draw from your locations.
Nice.
So, and you can keep a lot of different data on these locations. You can keep photos. You can keep the contact phone and the contact information. You can keep the address. You can keep the notes because maybe you don't want to show up early because the owner is a bit of a cranky pants. So, but a location is more than just a single location. A location also has several sets. You might have Joanna's bedroom in one place and Alex's kitchen in another. Or you might have both of those, but you might have both those places in the same house, even though they're meant to be different places. That's why we have the sets. And these are what you'll really be tying to each individual location and shooting location.
Okay, which makes sense.
So that's locations. Let's actually go back to Clickbait Productions. No, I thought we called it Clickbait Abyss. Now I'm sad. You can also keep real equipment. So that Canon you bought or the one you're about to sell, it's a node in your production company so that when you are getting ready to shoot your film, and you're not sure what cameras you're going to shoot it on,
Yes.
you can tie these cameras directly to your shoot and to your scenes so that you know where it's going and where it's coming. And the site keeps track of all those sorts of fun little things for you, so you don't have to keep as much in your brain because you should be focusing on not making sure that every tiny little thing is accounted for.
So what it does essentially with the equipment is it's saying, okay, where did we get this from? Where did we rent this from? So that we know where to return it. It's like also any insurances that we had on it to make notes for it.
That is one way to keep it. Right now, this is more built to keep track of your own personal equipment, but we're working on solutions to make it more like what you were talking about. That's even easier. But yeah.
Because a lot of times that you wind up with like a lot of equipment that you're carrying with you on the all-in-one trucks, and you're sitting there going, okay, 50 days into the shoot or 20 days into the shoot, you're going, okay, who did I rent this from? You know, can I return it at the, you know, it's like, or I had the, it's like, and then you have to go back in your notes going, oh, there's a contract. Okay. And it says this. And so now I have to go and talk to them and say, okay, I had it only 17 days, not 20 days. What can we do about this?
So back on this too much, but it is beta, and there are
it is a good thing.
These issues, but that we are aware of these issues, and they're things that we're to address in the future. And part of beta is that you get a direct line to Jim and myself. I don't know if I've mentioned who Jim is. Jim is the founder and CEO of the company. I am the co-founder and CMO of the company. That's why I go out and do all the podcasts, because I've got that pretty face to tell stuff with.
It is a handsome photo.
Oh, but so yeah, it's right now the easiest place to think of this is that every member of the production company or the shoot should just list their own equipment under there. There are, and then there will be better solutions on how to track all of that coming in the future.
Will there also be a walkie-talkie one? Because it's like a lot of times what it happens is on set that you're giving out walkies, and somehow it's like you have 27 walkies when you started the day. By the time it comes back, there's 25 walkies going, okay, we gave them to who? Like what, it's like on the list, number 26 looks like it was to somebody, but then, no, we gave it to somebody else. It's like, will this also fast track that as well for them, for like walkie-talkies and things like that, or and batteries, which disappear for amazing worlds?
Yes, they do. So there's not computer hardware. I believe we have a walkie-talkie head in here. If we don't, that one's actually fairly easy to add. Actually, I'm going to have to look and see where exactly it is. But if it's not here, I will talk to Jim about adding a walkie-talkie place so you can actually keep a specialized note for exactly walkie-talkies. I think right now it might just be classified as other grip.
Yeah.
So in terms in terms of what you have on any given set on any given day, this thing basically kind of does the logistics for you.
You have to assign where it's going to be, but it helps you remember, and it can help you through the on-set tab. It can help you track what you need on any given day.
Yeah.
So, and we're working on some better exports to help you for when you don't have internet access on set. This is a cloud-based platform, which means it's very collaborative, and you can access it from any browser. it works best from Chrome and Safari and Firefox, but you can access it from any browser. And that also means that if you're on mobile and you don't have internet access, it's not always the easiest thing to get a hold of. But we are working on solutions on that. And the first is easier exports so that you can bring them in the old style. But we'll be doing more on that in the future. I will say, though, that it works very well on an iPad, the
Yes.
site, and a similarly sized tablet. So if you happen to have a 4G iPad and where you're going to be, you'll be relatively good
Shameless
and
plug.
able to access.
Yes.
I think
Shameless
this
plug.
entire
I would show up my Kindle, but I'm using it right now for the podcast.
So yeah. Anyway, it's not just equipment that I track. You'll also be able to track props, wardrobe, etc. So in a very similar way.
Well,
because we do have limited time, but it is very very similar.
Well, also the fact that it's like you can give it to your have your HODs given their wardrobe trackings and stuff like that. So if anything is missing, then they too can also have their own lists in there as like going, oh, I gave it to this person, and then they can track it from there. It'll be a lot more efficient because we again know all the phantom wardrobe and props that go somewhere into the abyss, and we'll call them into the ether.
You are right.
Yes.
What you do, and I know if you have a list full of like 600 pieces of equipment or props or whatever, we get that that's a pretty big time sink to actually do anything about.
Yeah.
So we're doing so there are a couple of potential solutions for that. First, you can add them as you go, and then we'll just keep track of it. And so you only have to enter it once, and then you never have to enter it again.
Well, yeah.
There's.
What I was going to ask is, does that mean that, like, for example, with a character where you have wardrobe outfit number 1, it's like once you've recorded it, if you need number 1 again, you just have to bring it up, and it'll happen.
That's a very good idea, and that's something we are working on now, but I have to say this too much, but beta stage software, we are implementing solutions.
Hey, it's a damn good beta.
But so in terms of keeping track of stuff, there's one other thing I wanted to bring up, which is that the lorem ipsum here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
So you have the ability to import things like the manufacturer, the size, the model, the asset ID. Asset ID is if you are a production company and you actually have some sort of tracking system, you can just put that there so it works better with whatever tracking system you already have. Storage location could be anywhere from locker 2G to under the bed or under Timmy's bed. I don't know. And a description of the item, all of that. Now, manually entering every single one of those would be a pain. No getting around it. So we've done one thing to make it easier. We have some templates that you can download, and you can download you can download a Excel template that will format it in such a way that if you export it as a CSV and upload it to the site, everything just ends up in there. You'll still have to do photos. That saves a lot of time when you're doing a lot of that. It's a much friendlier interface. So, and then also if you've made it into you just have that template for yourself, which is not a bad thing. And that's completely free to download and works very well with our system. I designed it myself.
And I can tell that also for television shoots, it would also be a lot more attractive to them, because it's like if they need continuity of the same thing for the shows, it's like then they always know where it is, where it's stored. You don't have to play the hunt and peck game, where in the world is.
Exactly. And then that's just stored in a database for your production company, and you can figure out where it is without actually having to go every place. That's one of the big feedback we've gotten about this, is that a lot of filmmakers really like having one centralized place to keep everything, so you don't
Yes.
have to jump between 7 different things. Yay, we're on Skype now, Odette, apparently.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, we're Skype friends too.
but so yeah, that is the basics of the company, and I think we're about to get into the real stuff that people want to hear about. But before I do you have any questions?
I do have actually one more question, because I noticed on the front of there, when you're registering on the homepage, I'm just going to go here for one moment so that I can get the correct question that I was going to ask on the assistant page. In regards to that, they have here a section that is called is talking about a Slack channel, its name and its URL.
Yeah. So do you use Slack?
We don't use Slack channels, but some of the updates that you're having on here, like taking these tasks that are due today, tasks that are overdue, tasks and scenes that to shoot for today. Those would be great to have, even if you don't have a Slack channel. But I noticed that when you actually, it's like one of the things I know that as it goes along, if you want to click these things, so like project call sheets, project call sheets that were sent, new documents and all of that, then it starts asking for a Slack channel name and the webbook URL. Can you actually do a webbook URL separate?
So the webhook URL only useful for Slack. You use Slack at all? It's a communication software.
No, I have not
software.
yet.
I recommend it. We actually at Production X we use it internally. I'm actually on about several different projects and several different boards. So I really recommend it. It's actually also being used by NASA.
Nice.
So so I would really recommend that. Now, what the webhook URL lets you do, or lets us help you do, it's a little bit complicated to set up. You kind of have to know exactly where to go with it. But if you can find exactly where to go with it, we send all of those sorts of updates automatically, either instantaneously when they happen on the site, or in daily digest, so that you can make sure you know everything that's going on with your project. Now, Slack isn't the only place you can get those. You can get those just from the task board, or even the dashboard project, which I'm going to go to now. Look at this. Most of those bits of data you can just see right here. The call sheet,
nice.
You would have to just ask about or comment on, but yeah, so I mean, even apart from that, we don't want to compete with Slack for, it's not what we're about, so we just figured we are going to integrate with them and provide our users additional value by letting them have a customized channel that all of these updates just go to automatically.
Note to Slack, please join on with Production Next, and please merge the two companies. Or have some sort of agreement partnership.
Yes, but they are. That's already what we're doing, and we're looking to. We may expand that partnership and some other partnerships in the future too. We don't see any need to be fascist about this. We don't need to own and control all of it. We know what we do well, and we know what others do better than us that we don't want to compete in. So we're just going to be introducing different integrations over time.
So you're using an Apple philosophy.
Yes. So actually, Jim used to work for Apple. Jim, that's where he wet his teeth in their research division way back when.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge
fan of Simon Sinek, by the way. That's how I know about the whole Apple thing.
Okay. Cool. I think he's come up in a conversation or two with Jim and I. I don't remember exactly what, but what was said about him though.
Cool things about cool things about millennials and their little entitlement generation.
That's a different podcast to talk
Yes,
about.
exactly. We'll go into that one in the future. But it's like, no, I'm excited to see about this in regards to. So we're getting into the meat and bones.
So yeah, this is what you log in when you check out any individual project on Production Next. When you first log in, you're going to probably look at the strip board, but actually, even before then, I'm going to go back from Jabberwocky to Swans, because I may have lied slightly, because this is the only of a script uploaded too. So we have done a little bit with the breakdown. Just like you would as a UPM, one of the first things you're going to want to do is go through and line the script. Now, we've made it easier for you in that we get a lot of the metadata in there just automatically, and we also get dates, time of day, all of that. But
which is so nice.
Thank you.
From somebody who had to do it the hard way with like the rulers and all of that. Yeah.
That too. I was really excited about this whole thing.
Yes. It's like, oh my God. Yeah.
So we also pull out speaking roles because we know we can do that with at least very close to 100% accuracy, if not all the way. But I'm going to say very close for legal reasons. Always check our work because it's a bot. But if you need to go through and line things like, say it is Allie and they sit on a sofa, you need to line that there is going to be a sofa.
Yes.
Fairly self-explanatory. So sofa, you just double click on that, it highlights it. You go through and you click, yes they are, set dressing.
Yeah, right there, set dressing.
Thank you. Cool. And then it'll be a new item.
Yep.
And if you wanted to, and it has to be a Victorian couch that you're going to need to budget for.
Yep.
Budget and select the category, which we'll do, let's just say, dresser, sure. Or rentals. No, we'll do it in rentals. So we don't have a company item for it, but remember those company items that we were talking about earlier? You can assign that to it right here, so you know that it's going to be there.
Nice.
And then...
So if it was from Bennett's Furniture, yeah, like Bennett's Prop House or whatever.
And then... dressing is right there with the sofa.
Oh.
The next time you go, if there's another sofa, let's see. This is in department office. Prospect Park. It's not a very long script, but let's just say the living room.
Yes.
Straight for the bookshelf.
We would presume that there's a sofa there.
We would. So I'm going to add a breakdown item there. And then sofa item. Choose set dressing. Existing item. Sofa. There you are.
Okay. So just that easy.
Yep. You can also do so that's really, those are the very basics of the breakdown functionality. We're doing some other stuff with the breakdown stuff. This is the master where you want to go, but breakdown isn't as much about finding items, it's about talking with your team and figuring out who needs what.
Yes.
This is a master list where that a UPM or a producer would have. Given our permission sets, the DP wouldn't see all of these, but they would see construction, lighting effects, effects,
yep.
Thing because it does affect all of that. That would automatically change. I don't have a DP demo account set up. That is something that does automatically happen.
Well, also for a production designer, they would want to know about that, but they won't really care very much about, oh, well, we're having this particular lighting on this particular day unless they have a specific reason for it.
Exactly.
Or
so
they don't need to know that there's a dog that's coming on there. It's like,
yeah.
You know, for example, you know, they don't need to know that Rover's coming onto the set of the sofa that they're dressing onto the set for that day.
No, so that's exactly what it is, and it's meant to control the flow of information. And we'll be doing some additional things in the next couple of updates, at least, that will help to streamline communication on set. Because Breakdown is as much about communication as it is about finding individual things, if not more.
Yes.
So I don't want to say what our solution to that is, but we will be doing something with it soon. So
yes, and it's especially important when you're looking at heads of department to be able to give them and be able to delineate so that they don't have noxious paperwork that they don't need. And this is the problem with a lot of production in this day and age, is that you have to give them everything, and then they're weeding through, okay, what's particularly my section that's anything of relevance.
Mm-hmm. Management is just as much about controlling who doesn't need to see information as it is about who does need to see.
Yes.
More sometimes for intellectual property and sometimes just for efficacy, because they don't need it, they don't need to know, and it gets bogged down.
Yes.
So that's that's probably where you'll start. But this isn't just a UPM or an AD software. I've alluded to a DP a couple of times. We have several tools that are very important. Oh wait, we're still in Swans. Several tools that are
DP friendly.
Very good for more of the creative jobs on set.
Yes.
And one of those is our storyboard tool.
Definitely. When I saw that, I got so excited. I was like, oh my God, you could upload your storyboards on there. It's like, then therefore you and your DP can share that, as a director and DP can share that information in regards to it. If somebody needs to see it, like the production designer, they can see what's going on the ADs can see what's going on the day. Mm-hmm. And, that way we all have kind of what's going to look like at the scene before we're actually doing our blocking.
Exactly. And it's taking a little bit to upload here. Yeah. But we also have the ability to
well, because those are very detailed storyboards.
Yes. Yeah. I think I think we got those from some Creative Commons source online. That's not actually from something here.
Yeah, because a lot of them are more just graphic pencil black and white sketchings, rather than having a lot of color. That's probably what's taking so long on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But anyway, we can do a animatic.
Yes.
We mash all of your storyboards together to create a simple animatic so you can see how your scene flows.
Yes.
And I'd love to show you, but apparently I can't. So,
it will happen.
It will. It will. I'll come back to it in a minute.
Yes. It has nothing. This is the whole thing, is that this software is saving you time. So it's like, then you do have the time to wait an extra minute till it comes up on there, because it's like, especially if it's already breaking all those details down for you.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah. You get 7 times more more energy that you have to do photocopying for everybody what they need to have on the day.
So that does not sound fun to me at all. But so here's a little bit. So our strip board isn't like some of our competitors. On a lot of strip boards, all you see is the strip. There isn't anything else. You have to find something there. This is our strip board. This is one that we've fleshed out to make a little more sense. But it's not just strips. I'm just going to click into the second fight strip.
Okay.
And look at what we have. We have the entire scene. The scene lives within the strip, which is what it was meant to do when it got started.
Yes.
Now you can see, sometimes you can access the, depending on your permission set, you may be able to access scenes in a different way. The scene, but a strip is meant to look like a scene and meant to hold a scene. So we actually made it do that.
Yes.
So inside a scene, you have shots, production notes. Production notes are really interesting. They are things that can exist from any basic, from any of these ADR, continuity, dialogue, Foley, music, picture editing, sound editing, VFX, and other.
So this can essentially then be sent to the editing departments as well as also that to continuity so that they understand what has to remain consistent.
This is more for you. Yes, that does need to be sent on there, but this can also be used on set if you have an internet connection. So you have one centralized place for the scriptee to keep their notes.
Okay.
And so you can actually pass on those notes to whoever needs them afterwards, just as simple as giving them a login.
Can continuity upload photos as well and things like that so that we have it in there as a logbook as well?
Yes, in a bit of a different way, but yes. Yeah, we give you a basic document storage area.
Mm-hmm.
You can where you can upload photos, files. Like if you needed to keep all your releases tied to a single day, you can do that, or keep all your releases separate. You can just keep them there too. And then you can keep all of those keep your photos right now.
Okay. Which makes sense.
We may be giving a different answer to that again in 6 months, but again, beta.
Yes.
So the call time. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're here. So like when you want to add a scene, and if you do this via breakdown, I haven't done it for this because there's no script attached. If you add a script in breakdown, and you have a prop that you need, it automatically shows up here for you.
Okay.
Same with the equipment, same with anything else. So as you move it around, it lets you know that it's been moved around through a tool we call assistant.
Yes.
This is like having your own personal, literal virtual assistant. And
no, Arpo, it's not taking you away from your boss.
But so yeah, it can just keep you keep track of things like this shoot doesn't have times for when it's supposed to start.
Yes.
These call sheets need a little bit of attention. These two key positions are still unfilled. It's not every position, but if you don't have a director of photography, you probably need one.
Yes.
This don't have shot lists. Have one of those.
Do they have do they have on there, for example, going back to the unfilled section of, do they have, for example, if you need additional crew that day? Like you need an extra AD?
That would be something you would have to make a note of and deal with in the task. That's something that this system over time, particularly this bit of functionality. Right now we're close to version 2 of the assistant, but there's at least you can do it with. So it's just going to take time to do each of them, and not all of them are things that 2 people can do, because right now this company is 2 people. This is me and Jim, and that's it.
I'm telling you, it's going to go huge.
I hope so. That'd be nice.
It will.
But yes, it will. It just sounds egotistical when I say it. But
well, now I said it.
But yeah, so yeah, that is a so
the strip boards.
Let's go back to strip board, because it's mentioned call sheets a couple times.
Yes.
How much time do you spend making a call sheet normally?
Oh God, way too much time, because you have to go, okay, well, what did we shoot today? Do we have to carry that in there tomorrow? Okay, we got to move this down. Now we got to look at this. It's like, okay, do we have to do any reshoots on this particular thing? Did we get the coverage that was there? It's like, when is the actual footage coming in, so that we know when did we stop really at the end of the day, so that we can do pre-call, so that we make sure we're not in turnaround at any point in time. Yeah, it takes it could take easily to like at the end of the day a good hour or two at least to develop a call sheet, and that's if of course the director doesn't change their mind of what we're doing on that day.
Yeah, so we can't help the director changing their mind. That's beyond our technical capacity. But what we can do is, if you've been tracking all of that while you go, and like changing, oh, we're not going to get this. This needs to be moved to another day. And functionally track that throughout the day. You didn't, but all you have to do is click that, and look at what we have for you.
Wow.
We have a call sheet ready to go. We automatically put in the weather with the San Francisco high of 90 degrees, which is not fun.
Sweet.
And then
I'll trade you.
I think I'll keep it, but
okay.
Thanks. We also put in weather by the hour.
Yes.
Temperatures, and even sunrise and sunset.
Oh my God, that is so amazing. That like saves a bunch of time of having to go, okay, so are we looking at the Weather Channel for rain? Yes or no? And by the way, welcome our Olaf. Hey Olaf, how you doing?
I am doing wonderful. Hey, how's it going there? You know, it's interesting. You join a call in because you're kind of, running late, and I joined the call, and first thing I hear is like, yeah, we use strip boards. And I'm like, okay, did I get into the right call?
But, yes, and like the call sheets are like that will save a lot of time with call sheets, because first of all, generating them out. Another thing is papering everybody with the call sheets.
Yeah, so
like
all
this,
you
we can paper everybody.
They are in the scene, and you press send this call sheet to your crew.
Yes.
It will set up an email. Everybody who's listed in the scene, you can just click to select. If there's somebody who's not on the scene for some reason, you just add their email there. It will send it for us. For you.
Yes.
And that's it.
It's that, which is so time saving, because it's like, oh, did we get the trailers? Did we make sure that we got it to, it's like if you need to get it to an actor that particular day, if you have their information, then that way you could just beep it off to them so that they understand. Will you be doing that with the sides eventually? Adding the sides as well.
I have no comment on that, but
okay. Again, I know it's a beta version, but this is something that
no. So we have internally we have been talking about that very seriously, and that might happen soon. So,
yes, because if we can send the call sheet with the sides for the day, it just makes it that much quicker to beep it off to everybody. It's like then nobody can go, well, I didn't get the sides today, or you go to the
what is this? Oh, actually, that's an interesting thought. I might make a note. So I've mentioned the beta thing a couple times, so I'm going to throw one other thing on the beta. So long as we're in beta widget, this goes directly to Jim and myself.
So we definitely want to address that, because it's like because I don't know how many times I hear, "Oh God, we did not get the sides today. What are we doing? What's the scene?" It's like, I see the call sheet, but what's the scenes that we're doing? It's like, it helps. So, it helps them. It also helps the extras, casting people, to understand what, even though they won't be giving it out to the BG anyways to do that, the background performers, they still need to have the call sheets in there, or in the sides, so that they know what exactly is going on in the day.
And that was another question I was going to ask, is that now, if there has been a change in the script, because as we all know, the script changes day to day. So if there has been a change in the script, can that be sent to the actors as well in this call sheet? Or at least the fact that
that is one of the things that we're still trying to figure out exactly how to handle. We are aware that it is a big issue, but
I got a solution. Color code it.
It's not even the color coding. That's not the issue so much as the like we were showing with the breakdown. If you've already logged and didn't put the breakdown in, how does changing a script, which changes that, affect things? So that is aware of it, and we're working how to deal with that. Want to be able to deal with it, but right now it's going to be one of those that I'm going to have to chalk up to the beta line. Now, in terms of returning in that feedback note, which Jim will get and ask me about later, because this is the demo account, and it will show that it's from the demo account. There's a lot of stuff that we could do. There are some technological ways that we could help you know if somebody's read the call sheet or the email.
Yes.
And it's not currently, I feel comfortable saying that it is not currently on the dev tree, but it might be at some point soon, because I want to do it, because I think that's a really useful thing.
Yes.
Sometimes, I know that sometimes when you send an email, you can request a receipt that the email is opened. You'll get a little message back saying this email has been seen. And that way, you can at least say to the actor who shows up 2 hours late, okay, I got the receipt right here. I know you knew what time you had to be here because you opened the email.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and that is actually, so I did send that little feedback note, and what that feedback note said, if you were to actually read it, because my screen might have been on air when I sent it, was read receipts on emails. So that's I think it's something we should do. We have not talked about it at all, but I think it's a valuable feature. So
what's nice is that you can also print it from this as well, so that it's like, for those who don't quote unquote have email, they can at least have one paper copy around. So.
Oh yeah, no. So there's a lot of stuff that can be done there, and we're looking at different ways of doing it. If you do end up joining the platform out of this, please do know that if there's something you really think should be done, Jim and I do listen. We do review every request that comes through. Now, if we start getting 100 a week, that may cease to be true. But but we do review every single one, and we do generally talk about it at least a little bit. And if you did have something that you really, really think should be done, I can't promise we'll act on it, but I can promise we'll listen. And if you have a template or something that gives us an idea of what you're talking about, that helps us a lot and makes it more likely that we'll do something, because it's less work for us, and it also shows that you cared enough to send us a template.
Yes, and like the cast breakdowns and stuff like that, to understand for cast availability, so you can schedule out your cast on there. So then that way you're not going, oh my God, I thought that so and so was available on this day. It's like, No, apparently they have the X day that they're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be available to you, or they're only available for this window to this window. It's like, note that, you know, if you don't shoot them in this window, you're not having them.
Yeah, there are some other things on that are very interesting, and generally of which are the best. But of me, but that's about as specific as I can be.
No,
so
future solutions that will happen in terms of that, because as I know that, you know, in betas it's like you start off with the basics and you work your way in, because it's like that is super helpful when scheduling a show.
Yeah.
You know, when your actors are going to be scheduled and available to you.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
and how many days?
Speaking more as a software person right now, building something like this is in a lot of ways like building a hotel.
Yes.
In that people may be able to survive without a pool, but they can't survive without a bathroom.
Yes.
And you can't start doing anything or letting people in until you have rooms with bathrooms and beds.
Yes. And an awesome foundation.
Exactly. And all of that, and you can't do it until you've done that. Now, once you've done that, you can start adding amenities and adding other things to make people more likely to stay there. But where we are is that we only entered public beta, and we are actually 2 weeks ago tonight. So yay!
There you go.
But so we have that awesome foundation. We have rooms with beds, but there's still a lot more we want to do. I want to put in a super fancy 10-foot deep rooftop pool, but that takes time. So.
Well, yes, and it's like, but that's the whole thing of a great piece of software is it grows with you,
and
it grows with production. It's not something that's already built everything in there. It's like having you can't satisfy everything all at once, or else you're going to be coding this for like 20 years before it comes out, and by then it'll be obsolete.
Exactly. So that's why that is how we're working on it.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I noticed the budget one. Does that mean that you can actually import your budget?
You cannot import your budget. You have to use our budget tool to make it, but our budget tool has some really cool stuff that nobody else does.
Ooh.
So first of all, this is the budget. And I'm going to move that back over there. But we have a little summary on top that actually does a little pie chart of where your money's going, which can help keep your executives happy and other sorts of things. And it's just generally good data. Now, also it's pretty.
It is. It looks very beautiful.
So we also have a little financing widget here, which you can help track where your money's come from, how much is donated money, how much of it is donated services, what your soft costs are, what you've gotten in those soft costs. And there's a lot of other ways you can see that you've raised money. We'll be building on this to make it a bit more of what your executive producer really wants to hear, because I know I are one. But and another thing we do that, to the best of my knowledge, nobody else does, is we let you track both donated and deferred costs in line with to-be-paid costs. And we understand that a lot of low-budget films, the amount of money spent on them is not an accurate measure of their true value. So by allowing filmmakers to track their donated and deferred costs in line with their to-be-paid costs, it can give a more accurate reflection of the total value of the film. So if you got lunch donated by some
great company,
sub shop, you can track the total value of that donation, because it is something that, sure, you didn't spend money on it, but you had to call in some favors to get that donation. And those have value. And
Does it also add fringe costs in there as well?
We're working on a solution to that. We're working on a better solution to that than we have right now.
Because I mean, even the other guys don't have the ready up to date.
Yeah, they have that, and they have ways you can do it. I'll be honest, right as of this recording, our fringe tracking system isn't great, but it is something that's high on our dev tree. And how we're doing that, I'm not going to say, but we have some ideas on how we can do it.
Because also, if you're looking at multi-location productions, that will also help.
Oh yeah, that is something that we have definitely talked about. Fringes, we it might be tomorrow that we have a fairly long and in-depth conversation about how we handle fringes. Yeah.
So
that is
able to help track expenses for you, so you don't have to wait until the accountant calls and says you're over budget.
For this, no, but I'm going to fall back on beta for that. That's another thing that's on our dev tree. I have a stack of cards that I don't this thick of 5-inch. Of 3x5 cards that are just features we're planning on doing.
Yes.
So yeah.
Like daily expenditures, so that you can be able to say to them, "Hey."
Yeah, exactly. So we have ideas on how to do that, but nothing's implemented into it yet, and I'll fall back on beta for that.
So I noticed that it does item by item as well, which is really nice.
Yes, it does. You can do a full detail budget in here. Is one of the pieces that that needs some of the most work. It's good. It's just not quite as good as we want it to be. We want to make input a little easier, and we want to do because the way you input is you press the little gear there, and then you have to call how it's being paid. We're talking about ways to make that more efficient.
Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the budget now. Documents. I mentioned documents earlier. So this is what a Production Next document looks like right now. Document list. If you click in, you can actually view it right in sight. Now, yes, we do. Now, we also play fairly nice with Google Docs.
Yes.
And that if you just click the link there, you can actually just find a Google Doc there. And that is my Google account was not set up to do. But anything that we don't done in the document section, and at least your crew can see it and access it.
Yes.
Yeah. And members. There's a full video on this.
Yes.
But on our site, but.
And is it YouTube available? Because everybody checks YouTube.
It's Vimeo.
There you go.
It's Vimeo. But so we are having an internal discussion about whether we should be using YouTube or Vimeo or both. And it might be both. Yeah. So when you invite a new member, you add their email address, and let's just put fake email at productionnext.com.
Mm-hmm.
When you add someone, it will generate this email to them.
Okay.
You can add something. You can add your own personal note.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to figure out what be able to do. Now, unlike some other places which just view, edit, view, edit, not see it all, and very little on that, we've gone through, and every single part of this site has its own permissions matrix that we deal with. And every time we add something new, it gets added too. Now, these permissions matrices, in order to stop that from becoming overwhelming for people and users of the site, we've built all of our permissions around real-world job types. So if you're the producer, you can do almost everything, but you're somewhat limited in what you can do with shots. And production and some of your stuff, some of the granular stuff you just can't see because you don't need to, and we don't want to clog up your feed with it. The unit production manager can do, again, almost everything, but they can't really see anything with the financing, and they also can see a bit further down into the shoot than the producer can because they need to be more aware of what's going on the ground.
Yes.
AD can't see can't see as much as the UPM can, but can see everything on the ground because that's where they live.
Yes.
And the director of photography can see shots, storyboards, animatics, and change all of them, as well as equipment, but can't see the budget. Can't even see the budget. The executive producer can see the top level of everything financial, can see the storyboards because you got to keep the execs happy, but they can't comment on them. They can't do a lot there, and they can't change anything to do with shots or anything.
Well, no, because that's the director's thing that goes along with it.
Exactly. So part of it is about making sure the executive producer gets enough information that they feel happy because they're paying for it. They should feel happy, but not enough that they can really step in and upset the balance of what's going on set because that only hurts their potential to recoup.
Does this also help the guarantors as well to be able to send it to the guarantors? So then that way they can give the potential to give your investors a little bit of peace of mind.
Guarantors. So the way we're handling that is if you add somebody as an executive producer, they get something very, very, very similar to this.
Okay.
Which is the executive producer dashboard, which tells you how many scenes there are total, how many are completed, how many are unscheduled, where everything is in terms of timeline, what upcoming shoots there are in the next 2 days, what upcoming tasks there are in the next 7 days. And it also gives you some budget stuff, but that's not there for some reason. I'll talk to Jim. But so that's our executive producer dashboard. And you could send that to a guarantor, you could send it to an investor, you could send it, if you're a film student, you could send it to your teacher because it's about the level of information they need.
Yes.
And we are actually in 3 film schools already. But that is so those are the basics of the permissions. There's a lot more you can dive down into that's my Evernote.
It allows the accountants, it's like who needs to have the information to have that information.
Yeah. And the site is very much built around communication and managing the flow of information.
Well, and why I said it was also a time saver is because a lot of this paperwork has to keep constantly getting, sent to the office and then shipped right back and forth and back and forth. It's now in this day and age, since you can send your raw footage digitally, there should be no reason why you can't send the paperwork digitally as well.
I completely agree.
Yeah, have your paper backup, sure, but it's like then this stops having the runner that has to constantly go back and forth between the production office to you because it's like there's a note, there's a question. Oh my God, we forgot to put in the continuity paperwork. Well, no, we can just beep it to them directly at the office, and there it is. They know what time call time started.
No, I agree. That's part of what we're trying to do here is save lots of time and lots of money. So So yeah, I think that touches on basically everything. Oh wait, there's tasks.
Yes.
So tasks
I was just gonna,
are fairly
I
simple.
was just going to say I've been awful quiet, but this is just amazing and just awesome software that you're developing. This is just so cool. I'm just, I'm just kind of like, oh wow, this is really great.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This also will help with the breakdown process as well, because a lot of people do charge as PMs a massive amount of breakdown for doing exactly what this software is doing in a lot of ways.
We're not trying to put anybody out of business.
No, it's not putting anybody out of business,
Yeah.
but it's also going to help. What I'm saying is it's going to help them, because then they can be more task focused versus having to deal with, okay, now we got to create the strip board. They can actually get to the task of scheduling the show, as opposed to having to break down each and every scene, strip, and do that kind of parts, which makes them more efficient for what they need to do.
You beat me to my point. We're just trying to help make some of those tedious tasks much easier.
Yes.
And I think we're doing a decent job at it.
You're improving the wheel, not reinventing it.
Right. In other words, what might have taken a half an hour to do before this software, in other words, after you have it, you could do it in 5 minutes. So that gives you 25 minutes more to do the non-paper related things. So it makes your, like I said, it just makes your life easier and more efficient, which is just amazing.
Yeah, it gives a PM a chance to have more detailing in the breakdown as well. So then that way, it's like they can spend, rather than spending it on having to deal with how many eighths of a page, or is it 7/8 or 8/8? It's like, is that 7/8 or 6/8? It's like, let's take out the ruler and do all of that, and break down every character, every animal, everything. They can spend time actually refining it inside the actual strip board to save them time and tasks.
It saves them time, tasks, and makes a better production, saving everybody money. So that's what we try to do.
Yeah, it definitely.
So tasks. That's right. So tasks. It's a fairly simple task tool. You figure out who you want to assign it to, what it's called, a little bit of description, and this is horrendously out of date. But I don't think I was supposed to go here in this demo, but I did. So and then you can assign a priority. We have critical, important, and moderate. And if something's critical, it'll show up on the exec dashboard. If something's important, it will. But if it's moderate, they don't need to know. And there are other sorts of try to help flow that way.
So inside the documents, you'll be able to also do all of the storing of any extra documents that you need in terms of that. Are some of the agreements going to also be eventually added into as well? Like, the SAG-AFTRA agreements, stuff like that. It's like, or it's like, the way that they have, the sheets that you need to generate for them. It's like for the extras to be, as well as also the, like the SAG paperwork and all of that we need to send to the unions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's an
IATSE.
I'm going to, given how many different parties are involved in that, all I'm going to say is we're still in beta. So there are conversations that we have had about that, but we don't have solutions yet.
Well, you know what? That's what the future is all about. Solution, these things. Because really, it's like this way, it's like, I don't know how many times I hear when people have come, when I used to AD back in the day, it's like I used to be like, okay, is the call sheets here? Like, or is my vouchers here? And it'd be like, okay, well, the vouchers are on the truck on their way to there. Well, now I'm going to have to write down, you're in penalty now because it's not here within like the first 15 minutes of me showing up on set. It's like, it's like I'm going to take a penalty on that one. It's like if it doesn't show up within the next 5 minutes, and then you have the Oslo jumping down your throat, going, "I'm sorry, what was their vouchers not here today?" And you have to explain it was on the truck driving back to the set. Like we really were trying to get these vouchers, and I'm sorry I can't pull them from midair. I don't have that kind of magic trick.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I think we offer a very good value add on both sides of that if it's done properly. But I don't want to say anything about that beyond that for legal reasons.
Correct. It's like, and what's nice, I was looking at the call sheets as well. It's like you get crew call times, you get cast. It's like you get really nice breakdown of the crew call and all that, and pre-call, and nice flexibility.
Cool. So yeah, I know you already created an account. Has anyone else on this call actually created an account yet, or?
No, she wouldn't share with us.
Yes, she shares with you.
She said we weren't allowed because it's like, well, she said I wasn't allowed because I monkey around too much. I'm too much of a joke and prankster. She said, "No, you can't get in there and play. No."
I had to put them in the corner for timeout.
So cool.
Yeah, they needed to think about their actions before they start using important software.
Fair enough. So yeah, if you want to, so don't think there's anything else I can really go over right now. The one thing is actually there's one last thing. I said part of this is about communication, and a big part of communication is actually talking to people, and the way we've handled that is throughout the site you will find no, that's not right. You'll find threaded comments.
Yes.
If you need to actually have a conversation with somebody that you can keep better track of, the way that that's handled right now is through our threaded comment system, similar to this. So if you add a comment here, it starts a new thread. If you add a comment, if you hit reply, it starts a thread there. So,
nice.
So we're adding those in new places regularly, but the threaded comments make it super easy to have a conversation about stuff and make sure stuff gets resolved. So,
which is also faster than going, okay, so where is so and so? It's like I need to ask them about this right away. It's like try and track them down. It's like, oh, well, I thought that they were over here, but no, they're actually over here. It's easier to just beat them and say, okay, I have a comment here. So-and-so is like, I have a question for you. It's like, can you answer this one when you got a sack?
Yeah, and we've tried to make it so that you can ask the question on whatever you're trying to get the answer to. So if it's on a certain shot list, you can ask it on that shot list, or on that scene at least.
Yep.
So, yeah. And yeah.
So the journaling feature, though, also allows you to journal your day, to be able to say.
True. Yeah. So right now, my personal account actually uses the journal to manage the Production Next blog, which is publicly available on our site. Most people's don't do that. One that does. Yeah, so write an email that came
That's
in.
okay.
The
journaling feature.
Yeah, the journaling feature. So if you have a journal, you can set the journal to. I did this, so I want to look at it before I say anything. Yeah, the journal is part of the community aspects of the site. I believe your journals are all tied to your personal profile. And if you want to write something, you can do it just as project updates to keep people informed of how your projects are going, or you can do them in other ways, which would be more like if you wanted to help build your social media and your presence on the site in order to gain a little bit of notoriety from the group of early adopters we have here, you could also just write a flat-out blog there. That's what I do.
Very cool.
Yeah, no, like all of, if you go to productionnext.com/blog, that's all handled through the exact same journal system. There's nothing, and they're all done through my personal account. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some very interesting articles that you put up there on that blog that I would absolutely recommend people to read.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, actually, I think this is new since the last time we talked.
Yes.
But the entire state of the film industry report is up there now. So all 7 parts.
Yes,
but
and definitely a must read.
Thank you. It's also available on Amazon. And the Amazon version, everyone that's bought, I actually donate one to a nonprofit that's relevant, generally educational. So, but
very cool. Well, that's great. It's like, and there's a lot of informative information. It's like things that you don't get a chance to see. Also, I saw the Gorilla Rep site that it's gone through a little bit of some metamorphosis as well.
It has? That's news for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've seen a couple of extra articles on there and stuff, so it's gone through some.
Okay, yeah, that's true. There is. I was hoping to do one this week, but that's not going to happen. But the yeah, or next week, because I might have to write one for a different blog that I can't talk about. So,
yeah, is this going to also tie in though with the Gorilla Rep and Foundry as well?
Producer Foundry is kind of on hiatus at the moment. I don't know how much more is going to happen with it. It may essentially just become a events brand through Gorilla Rep Media, just because of limited time of all the people involved with it. But there may be ways that, but I can't say exactly how it'll be yet. So
eventually they all marry.
Yes, I have a feeling there will be different aspects of each in all of them, because they are all founded at least in part by me. So
yes. Yeah, and now excitingly, you're also going to the AFM this year. What are you hoping to achieve from the AFM this year?
I'll be more going to maintain long-standing relationships there and just check in with a couple people I know. I'll only be there for a few days, but I'll be seeing a couple of people who have become friends at this point. It's almost like a high school reunion every year.
Very true. It's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. It's like, we're going to keep in touch then, and we'll see each other again next year.
Yeah, so it's good to not miss.
Yes.
Hopefully there will be a bit of Production Next presence there next year. Don't want to say too much, though.
I have a feeling they'll have a booth or a window.
We can hope. Yeah. But yeah,
no, we didn't say that out loud.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's about everything. I should probably get going.
Yes. How do you remind people how they get you in social media?
Okay, the easiest way to get me on social media is at the Gorilla Rep on Twitter or the Gorilla Rep Media Facebook page, and Production Next is _next on Twitter and facebook.com/productionnextofficial.
Excellent. And Arpo, now that you're still alive, how do they get you on social media?
Well, right now they can't because I have no electricity. And no Wi-Fi. But once I do, They can reach me at Facebook if they want to be social, at LinkedIn if they want to do some business. And if they just want to chat with me, they can always go and start a chat with me on Skype. But make sure you let me know that you are a fan of Movietime. I get way too many requests for marriage from Armenian women, and my charge card number from what?
Also, Ben, remind me to ask you about those couple of sites that we were talking about last time, Audacity, and etc., and talking about that as well. Yes, and ACX.
Okay, yeah.
Now that we're up to 16 podcasting stations and 26,000 listeners. And
Okay.
yes, so Olaf, how do they get you in social media?
Well, you can stalk me on both Facebook and Twitter at Olaf Barbosa, but as I always say, just don't stalk too close because I do get nervous and I do have an itchy trigger finger.
And with me, you can get me on LinkedIn, Wikipedia, Facebook, Twitter at Sonata Grayson, at Movietime Indie. You can also look up the new website, www.pastlifeproductionsinc.net, as we've done some major changes to the site, as well as also please join us as well for our gala on October the 28th. More to come on that as you come. The tickets are available at Eventbrite. Also, to let you know as well that we will be having a wonderful Friday episode of Movietime, as well as also please do feel free to check out anything on our Facebook pages as well, because there is a lot going on and a lot of changes that are like rapidly growing. Till Friday, we will see you then.
Thanks for listening.
And thank you, Ben, so much. You've been amazing.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
No, we want you back again. Take care.
We'll corner him at the AFN.